Welcome back. I want to do something we've done before, and I want to show you how I trim a desert rose so that it branches out and gets nice and thick. As I have been trimming back my desert rose garden, I've been repotting, been making new soil, all kind of things going on here. My goal is to make mature bonsai type desert roses, nice, vibrant, full, mature. Now, many of the tutorials that you see online, their goal is to grow quick plants so you can flip them. Chop off the top, get one branch to shoot up, get a couple flowers on there so you can get it to market. My goal is to make large blooming plants that I can sell at top dollar. It's a little more fun for me that way. I spend more time with the plant, and also there's a little more leeway. So let me show you how I trim a desert rose that has been maturing. Okay, you don't have to be the most seasoned gardener in the world to see these plants got some problems. Now, a lot of plants get root bound, and you wait till they get root bound to plant them in the next size pot. Now, that's not what you're supposed to do with desert roses. With desert roses, you are to transplant them or trim the roots before they get root bound. And I failed miserably with these. And so what we're going to do in this tutorial is we're going to both trim the roots, repot, and trim the plants. We're going to go through the how-to of that. Now, you get your pot and you get your potting soil, and you have the plants here that you want to repot. The key is you need your instruments to be sterile to prevent the spread of fungus and disease. I'm using isopropyl alcohol. Other people will use fire, but I like to use isopropyl alcohol, and I clean up my scissors, and I will clean up my very sharp razor blade knife so that when I cut these plants, I get a clean cut and I'm not spreading disease from plant to plant. So I have two options here. I could trim the roots, or I could just remove the plant from the pot and pot all the roots in the new pot. What I've decided is I'm going to do a little of both. I'm going to cut off the 4-inch pot because they're so inexpensive. Link in my description. I'm going to cut off the pot, and then I'm going to also trim roots on most of the plants. These 6-inch pots are, some call them 1-gallon pots, even though they don't hold a gallon. They're a nice intermediary size, and your plants can grow pretty big in this size pot. The problem I ran into is life got super busy for me, and my plants got neglected for a long time. Now, one of the reasons I like growing desert roses is because when I want to be really active in my garden, there's lots of work I can do. But when I have times that I can't, they can take some neglect. Now, what I'm doing here is you cut the stem, the main stem, right near where it's kind of hard and fibrous. You want it to be where it's firm, right above where the nodules stop, where it looks kind of brown. You cut it off there nice and clean, and you have to remember in between every cut to sterilize your tools. Afterwards, you want to use an antifungal, and I use cinnamon. Most growers of desert rose adeniums use cinnamon to seal the cut to keep them from getting infected and spreading infection. So here I am, make sure they're nice. Now, you may need to use gloves when you deal with the sap because many people will have a reaction to desert rose sap. It is considered toxic. I'm very sensitive to cut grass. I'm sensitive to a lot of different plant saps, but for whatever reason, desert rose, adenium sap doesn't bother me at all. So I put on the cinnamon and then I sit them out to dry out. Now, when you repot your desert roses, if you've done different types of plants, what you normally do is you soak them in. But with a desert rose, oh, look at this one. Oh, my poor baby. With desert roses, you don't want to do that. If you have any questions about raising desert roses, about potting desert roses, about anything about adeniums, if you have any questions, go ahead and throw it in the comments. And if you could, can you slap the like button for me? And if you want more content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'm just going to be putting out a bunch of videos. Now that I have time, I enjoy making these. I hope you enjoy them as well. And I am going to show you some beautiful blooms very soon. What you want to do is you'll either leave them in the shade for several days or just leave them in their pot for 3, 4, 5 days before you water them. That way, it shocks the root. It shocks your caudex, and your caudex begins to want to hold water. We want a nice fat caudex, then it will begin to produce the branches. So when you repot your desert rose, don't water it in. Just put it in the soil. Don't soak it. Let it sit 3, 4, 5 days. Don't use really wet soil. Just let it sit there. I really hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have enjoyed making it. Thank you for spending your time watching it. Again, if you could slap the like button, it really helps out the channel. Throw a comment, even if it's not a positive one. Really appreciate it. And go grow something.